Hey, it's Kerry with Divine Radiance. Today we're going to be talking about co-creating and how co-creating is the quickest path to your highest potential. Now, eventually you're going to reach your highest potential one way or the other. However, because we have free will and the power of choice, sometimes those choices lead us on some detours, which just make it just a little longer. But if you want to get on the quickest path to your highest potential, co-creating is the way. And we will be talking about exactly how to do that in today's video. So for you, those of you who are new, my name is Kerry. I am a certified crystal healer, a divine light healer, and a spiritual guide. I'm currently immersed in a couple spirituality courses, a Course in Miracles, and the Self-Realization Fellowship Studies from Paramahansa Yogananda. I highly recommend both or either of those if you are on a path where you really want to ascend to a higher level of consciousness, transcend the ego. That's what I'm pursuing. But if maybe you don't have time, I'll be talking about what I'm learning about on my channel. So please subscribe, likes, shares, comments, always appreciated. So let's talk about co-creating. So co-creating is similar to manifesting. Manifesting is more about using your own will, the power of your will to get what you want. Co-creating is about really interacting with the divine and allowing the divine to take over some aspects. So think of when you have a decision and you have to decide between two things. A lot of times when we're picking which one we're going to pick, we go with the how. How are we going to get that done? Some hows seem more likely than others. And it might not necessarily be the one that we want, but it's the one we think is more likely or the easiest to achieve. Well, when you're co-creating, you actually will choose the one for your highest good. And that one is always not what's in your head, but what's in your heart. So you always want to listen to your heart when making a big decision, because your heart is connected with God, where your mind is commanded by the ego, which is connected with fear, influenced by fear and doubt, lack, and scarcity. So, but your heart is your deepest desires and implanted there by God. So you want to go with that one, but sometimes that one is the one that seems really impossible, that would never, ever come true. But when you stand in your power, you're empowered by your decision and you choose what's in your heart, the universe responds, okay? As a creator, as beings made in the image of God, which we are, the universe has to respond, and making a decision is one of those things where the universe will stand at its attention and is actually excited that we've made a decision, and now it will start working to make it happen. But a lot of times we get in our own way. So this is where we surrender to God and say, all right, God, this is what I decided. Now it's your turn. You get to figure out the how, and usually the when, right? Because a lot of it has to do with divine timing. But God will take on your invitation and figure out the how. And everything will start being in motion, getting in motion to help that decision come to fruition. Because God wants to play with us, guys. Like, I am serious when I say, like, God just wants our attention. We're so busy in our lives and our doing and trying to accomplish and doing all this stuff. God's just waiting for us to interact, waiting to be a bigger part of our life. And co-creating is one of those ways. So one of the things, as I've learned, as I've gotten deeper into this spiritual realm, is how playful these divine energies are, how humorous, right? Anyone who's interacted with an ascended master, it's funny, it's light, right? Nothing's dire, right? It's a playful, light energy. And that's what God is. God wants to play. And so when we allow God into our lives in that way, God will magically and miraculously start making things happen right before our very eyes. And it's really a really amazing, fun experience. Now, maybe sometimes you don't know what you want. You know you want something else, but you don't know. You don't have a choice to make. It's like you're working in a job that is not really doing it for you. You don't love it, but you have no idea what else to do. Maybe you think there's no way I'll make this type of money somewhere else. I don't even know what I would like, because our minds are so limited, remember, and it's also fear-based. So it thinks about lack and scarcity. But I learned this exercise from Dr. Joe Dispenza in his book, Becoming Supernatural. And within months of doing this exercise, I was told my career. I got my calling to be a healer. Now, let me preface this by years ago, I wanted a career change, years and years ago. I didn't really get it. I was like, I kept asking, what is next? What is next? This is not forever. And it did take a little bit of time. So patience, trust, and faith are really important in co-creating. So, but I know now that I wasn't ready and I had to go through this healing journey that I went through. Because if God told me 5 years ago that you're going to be a healer, I would have thought, no way, there's no way, right? I wasn't ready to know. So know that sometimes you need to go through things before you get the answers you want. But then when I set these intentions, everything on this list is what I have now. And this I did back in May of 2019, and I got my calling in August of 2019. Okay, so this is what I wrote for intentions. So you want to think of intentions as, you don't have to plan out what the job is, but what are the aspects of it? So these are mine just to kind of give you an idea. I wrote, can work anywhere in the world, has a creative aspect, I'm my own boss, I make my own hours, I love what I do. That was so important. I wanted to love what I do, and I wanted to help people. And then you can also add if you want to make a certain type of money or whatever it is. And then you think about the elevated emotion that you would feel if you had a job that gave you all of those things, how you would feel. And I wrote, freedom. I feel so free. So check. In love with life. Check. Inspired, joyful, excitement. Check. All of those I feel. Because God presented me with something my mind would have never came up with. My limited mind would have never thought of me being a healer as what I thought actress, I thought all of this other stuff, not healer. That would have never came to me, but yet here I am and I love it and I'm really good at it. And it's just using my natural gifts because God knows what our gifts are. So God wants us to use our gifts to give to others. So I'm using my gifts. I'm using things that I'm naturally good at and that make me happy, that I don't feel like I'm working. If someone would tell me that most of my days really are meditating, praying, and reading. If someone said, you want to get paid to meditate and read, and then when I work with people, I'm talking to people I love, really wonderful beings, and I'm helping them feel better. And I get that's how I earn a living. I would have never believed it, but anything is possible. Write down what you love, write down what you're good at, and allow God to create that dream job for you or whatever it is, the dream relationship, whatever it is in your heart that you want. But remember, for your highest potential, you want to listen to your heart, not your head, right? Our head is always going to be fear-based in some capacity and limited in scope. God is unlimited. And that's our connection is through our heart and really quieting down and seeing what makes us really, really happy. Because really, God wants perfect happiness for us. I promise that is 100% true. It's just we have to get out of our own way. We are so forceful with our will and making things happen, or sometimes we're just so busy, we don't invite God in. We just ignore it altogether. Maybe we're sad on the couch and instead of, we're eating some comforting food instead of turning to God. Turn to God, allow God to help. I'm not worrying about the how is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I don't worry about the how for anything. I get a bill. There's anything that I don't know how I'm going to figure out, I surrender it over to God. God, take this one over. And God will figure it out all the time. All the time. Either I'll get resolved or I'll get an answer or I'll get something. I do not worry about the how. That's how you live a stress-free life. You don't worry. I don't worry. I don't doubt. I just don't. And I certainly don't stress. anymore because I've seen it happen so many times that it's undeniable to me. And I'm sharing that enthusiasm because it is so true. Because I can honestly say that's the life I've lived. It's been incredibly blessed only because I have surrendered and I do trust and I do have faith and I've never been let down. Like I said, maybe sometimes it takes a little longer, like getting to know what was next, but I understand now why. There was a reason. There's always a reason if you're not getting it. So please share your stories of co-creation in the comments. That will be really helpful to everyone. I love hearing these wonderful type of stories. And I am available for one-on-one guidance if you need a little push in the right direction to connect with God. If you need a little push to get you going, I do offer that. So information down below. Sending blessings.